All right, welcome back. Turning now to today's Market Navigator. We're going to talk a lot about valuations on this show. And the debate gets even more layered and nuanced when we look at the explosion of AI, quantum computing, cryptocurrencies, blockchain. So just how far can all of these themes go? Our next guest thinks that some of these companies still have plenty of room to run, for decades, in fact, and she's here to share some of the names that she thinks are going to outperform. So joining us now is Rebecca Walser, president of Walser Wealth Management. Rebecca, at this point, I think a lot of folks believe this is a secular play. This is going to be long-term, AI, power generation, all of these things. But why exactly do you feel that there are certain players out there that are going to outperform all of the other players?
Well, I mean, it's just like with anything. There's always going to be winners and losers, right? But when the audience looks at this, we do have some real big concerns about the aging kind of financial situation of fiat and debt currency. Putting that aside, we really are at the precipice of the fourth industrial revolution. And when I say that, what I'm talking about is not just artificial intelligence. Everyone has heard of AI, but what does AI do? We've got quantum computing. We've got robotics. We've got the blockchain. What are all of the use cases for those technologies specifically? And when you start to think of how the future will look differently, then you can start to see companies that are really going to plug in and be winners. And that's what we're looking for. So, when you're talking about, like, for example, SpaceX, right? Everyone has heard of Elon Musk's SpaceX. But if you look at Rocket Labs, they have NASA contracts. They have Department of Defense contracts. And this is a year-over-year company that's, growing by leaps and bounds. So when you think of the fourth industrial revolution, think of space. Think of those kinds of things. What are the winners in there? Rocket Labs, I would suggest, has been incredibly well and will continue. It has a very long runway. The other thing we can think about is energy. One of the scariest charts I've seen is the U.S. energy production going back historically, overlaid with China's energy production. And this is one of the biggest problems that we have, because we are going to have no AI industrial revolution without the energy to power it. And as you know, in the U.S., we've really shied away from nuclear. We've really shied away from fossil fuels, and we don't have an alternative. So nuclear is going to be the alternative. But if you look at like Vistra, that is a company that has got different energy interplays with the government, with private corporations for the long term to see that we really can power. This is about not having the same computing capacity as China. And if we don't have the computing capacity, your companies will have to go where the energy can be produced. And we've seen that with, Bitcoin and all kinds of harvesting. We've seen them go all over the world to where the energy is, and then finally, when you look at, where can we see additional opportunities for, quantum? People don't even understand what quantum is. You're taking an algorithm. They don't know what an algorithm is. An algorithm is just a multivariate statistical regression formula, and quantum is just multiple of those being done all simultaneously. This is why the computing power is so energy laborious, and yet we are on this massive precipice. And I love that you said that investors are expecting this to be a long runway, because if you look at .com, you can see what happened. We had new technology, the internet, and it wasn't yet fully monetized. And so we did get that nice couple of year pullback, the .com crash, we call it. And obviously this time we know it's going to take time to actually monetize all of these new technologies. All
right. One quick follow-up before we let you go. As a wealth manager, how exactly do you position your clients for that? Do you take bets and put them all in at one time? Do you allocate to these things over time? Is it kind of like a dollar cost averaging situation? What exactly is the construct by which you put people into these types of investments?
Well, it's really interesting because we have to marry traditional financial planning and what their income needs are and when those income needs need to start with their risk tolerances, with the fact that we have this fourth industrial revolution that we want to get involved in and really have a long-term growth runway. So it's a mix. You still have to take into their current needs and their income planning needs. But at the same time, we want to be in that AI frontier space because it's going to be long-term one of the largest growths we've ever had in the history of the world.
All right. Rebecca Walser at Walser Wealth Management, thank you very much. We'll see you again soon.